Howdy everybody, welcome back to another episode. This time we're going to work on some stuff inside the house, and what we're working on today is we're going to do some remodeling of some stairs. Now these stairs are a little bit outdated and we want to just kind of bring them up to a more modern look. So as you can see, we're working on this old brown carpet. We want to get rid of it and we want to do some really nice stuff. What we have in mind is we're going to do two different things. This is just a pre-painted, it's a riser basically, and it comes just like this. And I'm going to put a link in on where we got all the materials. We happen to pick these, everything that we're showing today, I picked up at Lowe's. But Home Depot has a couple different versions of this. This is the one that we happen to like the best. It's just a white board, it's already pre-painted. And so all you have to do is just take some measurements and put this in. This is going to go on the front of the stair. Okay, so it's just white. Going to put that on the front of the stair, and then we got these treads. Now these are retro treads, stair treads, and they're already pre-made with this fancy decorative mold on the front. So these here, we're going to actually stain them. And what's cool about these is I don't have to replace the stairs. So the idea and the theory behind this is we're going to get the carpet taken off, we're going to stain these, and then we're going to put some baseboards in, we're going to do a couple other things with it, but then these just lay right down on top of the stairs, they glue down, and should be a pretty easy fix. I'm a little bit nervous to see how it's going to turn out, but we're going to go through step by step and we'll see how it turns out. First thing that we're going to do is, before I even start tearing anything apart, this project's going to take a number of days to do. But I thought the more that I can get done outside, the better off it's going to be inside. So for example, I'm going to start staining these stair treads. Outside, I'm going to pre-stain them so that when we go to install them, I don't have to sit and stain every stair and smell up the house. So I'm going to pre-stain everything, and then we'll cut each one and we won't have to do as much staining. Now, what I'm going to use is this product here. It's made by Minwax. You can pick this up at Home Depot. What's cool about this is it's a stain and a polyurethane. It's two in one step. What we decided to choose is this Bombay Mahogany. It's kind of a dark, more rich stain that's really going to take this stair tread and really darken it up. The plan is to get this down, and then after everything dries, we'll go back in and put another coat of just straight clear polyurethane to give it a nice thick, heavy coating that'll look good, and hopefully we'll be able to keep up with the wear and tear of it as well. So one tip to think about, depending on how many stairs you have, how much you're going to actually be doing. If you do need more than one can, now here's a tip. Some of these shades, even though you buy all of, in this case, the mahogany, if you get multiple cans, the stain might be just a little bit different in each can. So I have already taken 2 cans, opened them up, I combined them and mixed them together just using a stir stick. So this here, you're not supposed to shake, you're just supposed to stir it. So once I combined the 2 cans, I stirred all of it together, and then I was able to pour them back mixed into their individual cans, so it's easier to deal with at that point. But that way you'll get, every stair is going to be the exact same shade. So that's one thing to think about. Just going to start dipping just a little bit, and then I'm just going to start up here at the top and just kind of work my way back and forth. And you can see how it's a pretty dark stain as it is. But as we go back and forth, I like to do long strokes so that it blends in really, really nice with the grain. Now when you're putting this down, you want to go with the grain so that the stain will go in between the grain itself, and you get a much better result. So I'm gonna just kind of keep following the grain down. Don't be afraid to put some on here. It's okay to put some on because the wood itself is gonna absorb a lot of this stain. So don't be afraid to put some up, so too much on there, because as you can see, it kind of just absorbs down in there. But once you get a little bit on there, go back and forth with wide strips, and you can see kind of the shade that we're already getting. So on the edge here, I'm just going to, like I said, you don't have to worry about the drips so much, especially with stain, because as I'm working with it, it may drip a little bit, but I can come back and grab it and just keep the wood there. We have just done 2 separate coats of the staining, and this is about the shade that we want. So this is the darkness that we're looking for. So that's just 2 coats. You can just continue to put more coats on. It just depends on the shade that you're looking for, but this is what we were hoping for. And so now that we've got 2 coats on, we're gonna start putting a polyurethane finish on it. Now, if you recall, the stain that we bought was also it was a stain and a polyurethane combination. But we're gonna take it a little step further and put another polyurethane finish on it, just because it's gonna be high traffic. And this is hopefully gonna kind of maintain the finish. So we're just gonna use this Minwax polyurethane. Now pay attention, because this is clear satin. Now the finish that we chose with the stain was a satin finish. You can buy a clear gloss that would keep it really glossy. Well, we didn't want it that glossy. We wanted to kind of have this more of a subdued matte finish, so that's the satin finish. So to match the satin finish that we already have, we're gonna stick with the satin. Now to put the polyurethane on, it's actually pretty simple and it goes really fast. I'm just using the brush again, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna first start with the nose of this stair tread. Just tip it up on the edge like this, because it's a little bit easier to do. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of polyurethane on the brush, and you'll see it's gonna go really fast. So as I start to put this on, you'll see it kind of get really nice and shiny. It's not gonna stay shiny because it's a satin finish, like I said, but I'm just putting just along the edge here, and you'll see how fast that goes. Once I get that all the way across, I'm still using the long brush strokes to eliminate any smaller brush strokes within the clear coat, so you won't see those. So once I got that done, I'm gonna flip it up. I'm just using some soda cans to prop this up. Works really good. Then I'm just gonna start putting some of this up on here. I'm just gonna get a little bit of that up here, and then I can go back and start blending it in. We were just working on the stair treads themselves, staining them, getting them ready to go, but we're also gonna put the face plate or the kick plate that goes on the front of the stairs. We're gonna just do a nice, so this is a pre-painted board that you can get. You can see it's just unfinished on the one side, it's finished on this side, it's already got a primer on it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna paint it white so that it's a nice white finish on the front, and then we'll have the stair that goes on top. So we went to Home Depot, we got this Bear. It's paint and primer together, so it's a little bit thicker, should turn out pretty good. So when we get this guy open, what we're gonna do, so they already had in their little shaker, so that this paint is pretty much all ready to go. But when we get home, I always like to take the stick and just kind of stir it up again, just so anything that's separated within the paint will kind of go back together, and we'll get a nice clean paint that'll be consistent. Now when we go to put this on, there's 2 different rollers that we're going to use. So this is unlike the stain that we used to brush. We're going to use these rollers. Now this roller, the first one that we're going to use, is just a nice thin, like smooth surface, but you'll notice it has a nice mat to it. This is what holds the paint and what's going to transfer the paint onto the board. After we do that, we want to get a nice smooth finish. So in order to do that, we're going to use a foam roller. Okay, so we're going to first roll the paint on, and then we're going to go over it with this to give it a nice smooth finish. So it's going to take a little bit of paint on both of these. You don't want too much on this one, but you are going to want to put some on this, and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do that. Because we're going to just grab some of the paint. I don't know if you can see that. I'm just going to grab some of the paint, put it up here on this little, I'm going to start just kind of getting some of the paint off. So we don't want too much, but we want to have a little bit on there. Okay, so then kind of the same thing with this. I'm just going to start up here and just get just a little bit on there. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to transfer the paint on with this roller. I'm not too concerned with getting it all the way to the edges, just because this board is going to be cut and it's going to be custom fit for each tread that, for the place that it's going to go. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to start going over it with this foam, and that you'll see that it's going from kind of that matte finish from that thicker roller. It's just starting to smooth this out a little bit. We will have to put several coats on just to get it to the right thickness that we want in the paint, so that it looks nice and clean. And then the final step after we do this will be to put polyurethane finish that we did on the stairs, the top of the stair tread. We're going to also put it on here. Okay, now we're going to start working on the trim pieces. And like I mentioned before, I like to pre-paint everything before we start to cut. It just makes it a whole lot easier when we go to do the installation, because then it's a little bit cleaner. You don't have a lot of paint that you have to worry about. We will have to do a little bit of touch-up, but this is what we're doing. So first, before we get started on anything, we've picked out our trim pieces. The pieces that we're going to use for the baseboard, this is actually a pine. It's as you can see, it's already pre-painted. I think they're a little bit more expensive to do it this way, but it's nice and solid. It's going to be easier for me to work with, and to be honest, it's also the longest piece that we could get in this width. So these are 8 inches wide. I wanted it to get it a little bit thicker just because the stair treads are going to basically eat up half of this, and so I wanted to have a little bit of a baseboard showing. So these are 12-foot lengths, they're 8 feet wide, and they're all pre-painted. So what I'm going to do is I'm just taking some baby wipes. These are the best thing ever, and I'm just going to lightly dust them. So the tops of them that are going to be seen, I'm just going to run a baby wipe down this and just get the dust off. I'm going to do the same thing on the front, and then we're going to apply the same Polar Bear paint that we're doing the face plates. So everything's going to match. One of the things that I have been doing, since you don't have to paint the whole thing, I've noticed that these actually have like the barcode sticker that's on the back of these. If you're going to take it off, it leaves kind of a gooey, nasty, residue. So I just wrote on the back of all of them that this is the back. I'm just going to let the sticker stay against the wall. It's never going to be seen. And then I also am only going to have to paint just the top edge, because the rest of it will be kind of buried down beneath the stairs. So anyway, we'll just go ahead and continue prepping it. Shouldn't take a whole lot of prep, and then we'll hurry in and start painting them. So that's the end of part 1 of this video series. Appreciate your time getting to this point, watching. If you appreciate what we're doing, please leave us a like and a subscribe, and make sure you check out part 2, where we really start working on the inside, tearing everything out, and then how we start to reassemble everything and put it all back together. So thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in part 2.